The gondolas of Venice glided softly under the setting sun, their ripples catching golden light like shards of glass scattered on the water. I was standing on the Rialto bridge, my phone in hand, when a notification appeared. I almost ignored it, thinking it was one of those travel updates or advertisements that always came at the wrong moment. But when I unlocked the screen, my heart nearly stopped. The words glowed back at me like a warning written in fire: leave quietly. Don't trust your son and his wife. For a moment I couldn't breathe. My son Daniel was only a few steps away with his wife, Claire, and my 2 grandchildren. They were laughing, taking selfies with the canals behind them, their faces filled with joy. To anyone else, it was the perfect family vacation, but in that moment, I felt something I never thought I'd feel: fear of my own blood. My fingers trembled around the phone, and I had to slip it into my bag quickly before anyone noticed my expression. The message haunted me through the evening. Who would send such a thing, and why? I didn't want to believe it. Daniel was my only son, the boy I raised alone after my husband passed away. I worked 2 jobs, sacrificed my own dreams, and poured everything into giving him a better life. And Claire, while sometimes distant, had never been outright cruel. We weren't the closest, but I never thought of her as dangerous. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The next day, the strange details began piling up. Daniel insisted that I leave all the hotel arrangements to him. When I offered to help or check the bills, he brushed me off with a smile that felt just a little too forced. Claire was constantly on her phone, lowering her voice or walking away when I came near. At dinner in Florence, she whispered something into Daniel's ear, and they both turned to look at me quickly before pretending nothing happened. Even the children, usually so eager to run into my arms, seemed oddly quiet, as though they'd been told to keep their distance. By the 3rd day, I found a folded map tucked into my handbag. At first, I thought one of the kids had been playing, but when I opened it, there was a red circle drawn around a villa in the Tuscan countryside. No note, no explanation, just a mark. My blood ran cold. Was this connected to the message? Or was someone deliberately trying to make me paranoid? That night in Rome, I couldn't sleep. I replayed the years in my head, trying to remember if I'd ever done something to upset Daniel, something that could make him turn against me. I remembered all the birthday parties, the nights staying up when he was sick, the day I sold my wedding ring just to pay for his college tuition. Could the boy I loved more than life itself truly wish me harm? The following morning, we were scheduled to leave for Tuscany. Daniel was unusually quiet as he loaded our bags into the rental car. Claire smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I kept my phone hidden in my lap, waiting for another message from the mysterious number. None came. The silence was almost worse. When we arrived at the villa, the sense of unease grew unbearable. The place was beautiful, too beautiful, stone walls draped in ivy, tall cypress trees lining the path. But the windows were dark, the air still. It didn't feel like a place for a family vacation. It felt like a place where secrets were buried. That evening, while the kids slept upstairs, Daniel and Claire poured wine for the 3 of us. I noticed that Daniel insisted on pouring mine himself. My instincts screamed at me, and I pretended to take a sip before setting the glass aside. As the conversation grew more strained, Claire suddenly leaned in and said, "You've had a good life, haven't you? Everything you wanted." Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp, like blades. Daniel placed a hand over hers, avoiding my gaze. At that moment I understood. Whether it was money, inheritance, or something darker, I was no longer safe. The message had been a warning, and if I stayed another day, I might not live to see home again. I waited until midnight, when the house was silent. Grabbing my passport and a small bag, I slipped down the staircase, each step creaking like thunder in my ears. Outside, the air was cool, the stars bright. I walked as fast as I could down the road until I reached a small village. I found a taxi driver willing to take me to Florence. From there, I booked the first flight back home. 2 days later, when I was safe in my own house, I finally received another message. This time it read, "You did the right thing, they were planning to trap you." No name, no explanation, just confirmation of my deepest fear. For weeks I wrestled with guilt. Was I paranoid? Had I abandoned my son when he needed me most? Or had I narrowly escaped a betrayal so cruel I couldn't even imagine its full extent? I never received another word from Daniel or Claire. My calls went unanswered, and eventually, their number was disconnected. It was as if they had vanished. In time, I learned to stop asking why. Some truths are too heavy to carry. Instead, I turned my pain into strength. I began volunteering at community centers, helping single mothers who were struggling like I once did. I found joy in my independence. And though the ache of losing my family never truly faded, I discovered something more important: survival is not betrayal. Sometimes loving yourself enough to walk away is the bravest choice of all. And so, I hold on to one lesson, the message I carry in my heart even now: trust your instincts, even when it hurts, even when it means walking alone. Because sometimes, the people we love the most are the ones who hide the sharpest knives.